Okay, what's good, people? It's your boy ADazzle in full black effect. Here for WrestlXtra number 3. So let's get it. I'm with my boy, of course, the WrestleManiac himself. Mex, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm really good, man. Very pumped. This is SummerSlam week. I don't know
Yes.
what it is when it's a big four pay-per-view. Like, I'm just in it. I'm so into the product. But yeah, we're gonna discuss a few things today, and
Cool.
probably away from SummerSlam, but we'll see how it
Right,
goes.
right, right. Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. So let's get into it straight away, bro. What's been going on? What's on your mind? What are we talking about today?
So I think one of the stories that we started the week with was this whole Thunderdome. WWE are moving away
Right.
from the Performance Center, and the Thunderdome is going to be a thing. We're going to get drones, apparently. They're going to include virtual fan engagement. So it's like they're setting up these screens around the ring, I'm guessing. We're going to be seeing people's faces there. I think they've been trying this in a couple other like live events. I think at the Premier League in England, the Football League, they tried something like this as well. So just a different way to kind of present the show. Maybe that's their latest attempt to up viewership and things like that. But yeah, it's something different. I'm looking forward to see what the end product is gonna look like. Have you got any thoughts on what you think it'll look like, or?
So if I'm sure most of our people watching now and listening as well will have seen some of the virtual fan stuff on the NBA, because the NBA have had, they've got the wall at the back with the virtual fans on there and stuff like that. You've seen people reacting, so I've seen how that can look, and I think that would look great with the wrestling ring and the fans behind. So I think that's going to be a great idea. All the technical stuff with the drones and the this and. I'm kind of excited for it, if I'm honest. It's going to be like, I don't know, I almost envision it to be, when you watch some of them films where it's like battles in the future and stuff, and you're just seeing all these different technical stuff going on.
Futuristic looking.
You know what I mean? It's very futuristic looking and all the rest of it. So, and the name Thunderdome just sounds all kind of Mad Max like. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'm down, man. I'm excited to see how they do it. They always pull off. Pull stuff off like that in an amazing way, especially on a technical level, and judging by things like when they go at it when it comes to WrestleMania, and SummerSlam as well. They can put it out there with a set and all that kind of stuff. So I missed the whole set.
Yeah, I think that's what makes WWE apart from and puts them in a different echelon apart from these other promotions. It's because of just the whole production value that they bring. In some of these aspects, they're contacting top lighting and these businesses outside of this industry, this world, to come into this world and put things like this together. They're contacting, top TV production personnel to come in. So I don't doubt that it won't look the part. People are always going to have something to say. I guess we'll get around to that when it happens. I guess by the end of this week, we'll know what it officially looks like. One misstep, in my opinion,
Go for it.
They shouldn't have announced it, I don't think. I think they could have used this as an opportunity to let Retribution shine. Retribution, I know they are a very funny point right now for wrestling fans. People are kind of split, probably more like we don't care about them more than caring. But if Retribution took this as an opportunity maybe to destroy the entire Performance Center, and I mean 10x what they did on SmackDown, literally rip it to bits to the point where WWE can no longer be at the Performance Center, and then all of a sudden, okay, we've had to pull some strings. We're going to be at the Amway Center. We're going to put this whole Thunderdome thing together. Right. Just kind of link it in the story that you guys are already doing. Like,
okay.
I mean, I think it would have just helped along some.
You know what? I think that's an amazing idea. That would have really kicked it off for both Retribution, for the reason for going from the Performance Center, which Yeah, we're very much used to, but of course, compared to being in a stadium, like they used to be,
Yeah.
to then just go boom, okay, this is what we're doing then. You can tear down what we've got, but we're gonna go even bigger. Then yeah, you know what? That would have been amazing.
Like,
But,
I'm just thinking, especially with all the editing and stuff they've been doing. Like, obviously
Right.
the ringside area gets torn down anyway. Like they take the ring down and put it back up and stuff like that. But then they could have, I don't know, bought a little warehouse anywhere else and dressed up as the performance center and just got one of those guys in the hoodies and the ski mask to sit in a bulldozer, just put a crane through the warehouse, and it's like, I mean. Wow, Retribution have actually done something against the establishment now. They've knocked down the performance center where, is the academy for upcoming wrestlers. What do we do now? Then it's like we've segued to the Amway Center. Like, I think it could possibly a missed opportunity. What we'll see.
that's most definitely a missed opportunity. I think that would have played out real nice.
Yeah.
Definitely would have played out very nice, actually. So let's talk about Retribution a little bit more. We saw a little bit of them on Friday. They attacked Big E and John Morrison, and then later on attacked the backstage area and stuff. And we saw more figures, and we saw different figures as well. We saw the tall ones. We saw the tall ones. We saw the females. We saw a bit of hair. I think they weren't trying to hide too much this time around, giving us something to talk about like we're doing right now. So. Do you think that's helped in kind of trying to work out who is under these masks, and also what they're still trying to get to? Because I'm still kind of like, I mean, it's an obvious invasion type of story, but where are they coming from? What's the end goal? What I mean?
I don't think that they know what the end goal is. Like, I think especially with them. Having the different people now, because obviously there was a lot of the talk the week before that curly hair, Vanessa Bourne, and this person could be Chelsea Green, and this other names that were being linked. Then they thought, okay, we're going to start letting the ladies amongst them put their hair out now to throw you guys. We're going to multiply the amount of people in the group. We're probably going to swap out the first 5 you guys saw and put a whole different people, people in there and stuff like that. And the question still remains: what is their motive? The only thing they've done is, spray painted the WWE sign, put a cross through it, so we know they're against WWE.
Of course.
But apart from that, I just don't know where they're going. I heard Bubba Ray, Bully Ray, on his radio station. He said something really interesting that I found on Twitter yesterday, and he said that they should be spraying the letters. I can't remember what the letter, whatever it is, but I'll say it is: creative has nothing for you. CHN whatever, because that is the notorious line that WWE give to wrestlers when there's nothing for them to do. So, and then obviously under the ski mask should then be the likes of wrestlers that they may have dismissed on those bases, or wrestlers that aren't doing much right now. I think we're all just clawing just for something. This has to just have some meaning. But every week now, vandalism. That's all we're getting now, vandalism.
Right. It feels very, as we said weeks ago, it feels very teenagers, just reckless teenagers, not adults.
Asbo behaviour.
You know what I mean? Asbo behaviour. Very UK Asbo behaviour. Yeah. It's very difficult to see where they're going and what they're doing with that. Moving on to our next point. Mex, you tell me what else has been on your mind in the forefront of what's going on, what's been happening this week?
So I think we can't not discuss, if you just jump over to AEW quickly.
Of course.
The TNT Championship scene. I have been a fan of the open challenges. I've enjoyed especially seeing some of the independent talents that have come in, had their opportunity to shine. At one point, I was a bit concerned, thinking, a few independent guys have come in, and it's like there are mid-card level wrestlers on AEW's roster that aren't getting so much an opportunity. I was hoping that the independent guys weren't taking the roster members' opportunities. We circled back around to Scorpio Sky, which we all got really excited about. Obviously, knowing what he's been. I'm gonna let you speak. Don't worry. We all know the work he's been doing on Dark. We thought, this is time for him to step into the forefront, let his story be told. Hopefully it ends in the TNT Championship win, preferably at All Out.
Right.
Last week, it just didn't happen. We speculated last week on the show. We speculated how it may happen, because I think we were both convinced it was going to.
Right. Completely convinced.
Didn't happen, to the point where I watched back the finish of the match to ensure I didn't miss something. To ensure that maybe at least, he lost, but maybe there was some story that took place as to why he lost. Absolutely nothing. And compounded by even more nothingness, the fact Brody Lee just came on screen straight away to say, I'm next. Like,
yeah, right.
There's been a lot of complaints within, these guys that have left WWE, that they never got opportunity, this, that, and the other. And there's been a lot of similarities between what people have said and the likes of Cody now carrying that belt for maybe what is seen as a prolonged period. He's shining light on these talents, but they're not winning. So it's like, I don't know, man.
To talk specifically on Cody's run and how that's perceived, for me it seems prolonged simply because it's been very repetitive.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned this last time, but I think it just seems very repetitive. The open challenge thing is great, and it excites us because we're thinking, who's going to come out? And obviously they opened it up to not just AEW talent, and we've seen the likes of Eddie Kingston, Ricky Starks, and then of course, and all the other people that he's faced. And yeah, they put in good matches, and he's done the whole respectful thing and hugged and raised their hands and all that kind of stuff. It's been great, but it's again every single week the same. So then we get to Scorpio Sky. He's doing his thing on AEW Dark. He's killing it. Run of, I'm sure, like 7 wins in a row and all that kind of stuff. And to be fair, if you're going to be on AEW Dark and you're signed to AEW, you're going to win. That's just the rule of thumb.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was very convincing. Obviously, you could see that he was, he's a former tag team champion, the first ever in AEW as well. So, there's a story building here. And obviously, then he cuts his promo. Ready. Kick in the door. That's the tag. That's what we're going for. So I'm going to take my opportunity. Then comes out the following night. Excitement's building. We even had Cody come out with his whole entourage.
Yeah.
That he hasn't done in weeks.
Big fight.
So we're thinking, okay, something's going on here. Then we get Scorpio Sky, or was it just before? We had Scorpio Sky come out.
The entrance.
Kicking in a door in his entrance. Right, let's go.
He even had his own music, no SCU music or anything like that.
Yeah, of course. Reach for the sky, all of that, kick in the door. I'm ready, let's go. The match is happening. Yo, TKO. No, Crossroads. Kick out. Yeah. Then boom, Crossroads again, match done. Like,
very underwhelming.
No low blow, no Brandy involvement, no, no referee getting knocked out. Scorpio Sky got 3 count and no one saw it. Like, just nothing, bro. Just nothing. And I'm just like, why? Just what was the point?
Yeah,
the whole build-up for just a standard ending. A standard ending that's just killed everything completely. So, and then as you said, Brody Lee comes out on the screen, not even comes out. So as much as we were like, okay, Dark Order's gonna come out, mess up the match. Da 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 da. Dark Order were there at the end, just with the masks on, and Brody Lee talking about stuff and holding the old championship, and even with that, I'm kind of like, okay, so where does that go? How's that one gonna work? Because even if you move away from the Sky story, what's the Brody Lee story gonna be? Does he then face him, tomorrow or when it airs? I think it's on Saturday now. On Dynamite. Where does it go? Does he, if he wins, okay, he's won, end of.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, why not? What happens? Does he lose to Cody just like that? After the Dark Order's kind of having a build as well on their own. It's kind of like the whole TNT thing. I mean, there's still space for certain things to happen. There's still a space for certain things to happen, but it will still feel as if it could have happened better. Yeah, basically. There's still space for some kind of interference in their match, and that then leads to a match all out. But yeah, it's kind of just where we're going.
I think that's the annoying bit, that there was no story that kind of led to the loss. I don't think anyone would have cared about the loss, especially the fact it was on TV. We know there's still the opportunity for the title to maybe change hands at All Out or somewhere else down the line, but it was just more that the fact that Brody Lee came up afterwards, they could have just sent in the Dark Order goons to end this match abruptly, to at least protect Sky and everything he's done on Dark and to this point. And then Brody Lee says, I don't care what you guys are doing, in so many words, and says, I'm next for this title.
Right.
The fact that they do the time limits in AEW as well, they could have just wrestled out to a time limit draw, and then Cody retains. There is just no reason. I just saw a clean finish. I didn't see a clean finish happening in this match.
Not at all. Not at all.
Unless Sky won somehow, which I don't think we really thought would happen on the night anyway. I just don't know how much they're doing in terms of really. Would you say that helped give Sky a platform or built him up? I wouldn't say that.
Not necessarily. No, I mean, like I said, the whole build up was great, and you can it's not even just the simple fact that it's Scorpio Sky. You can take Scorpio Sky out of it, put anyone else in that same position, that same build, towards it, Jungle Boy or just anyone.
No, it's true.
And it would still feel like, what was the point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the match was good. Both of them put on a decent enough performance and stuff, but it still wasn't kind of it didn't still feel memorable, basically. To credit the build, basically. So yeah, I'm still kind of hoping for something to happen. I don't know what. There's been talk of different things, but I'm still kind of like, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think from here, if we are still going to get something more out of Scorpio Sky, it has to be a heel turn. He has to go rogue. Right. He has to basically lose his mind or something like that.
Yeah, of course.
To drive him to be crazy to go after this sort of thing, because this just might as well have not happened, if I'm being completely honest.
Basically.
The fact definitely no story came from it. It might as well have just not happened at all. So
moving on to our next point, we were talking about a dominance of Cody Rhodes. There's also a dominance in back in WWE with the ladies, with Sasha Banks and Bayley. Of course, they hold basically every women's title that can be held on the main roster right now. Yep. With the SmackDown Championship, Raw Women's Championship, and the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship as well. But then we've seen, all the build-up for SummerSlam, Asuka versus Sasha Banks, that was set. And then we had this tri-brand Battle Royal to determine Bayley's number one contender. And we had a good number of ladies in there from NXT, from SmackDown, and from Raw, and of course, Asuka was part of that as well, which was actually quite surprising, to be honest. I wasn't expecting her to be in it. What I didn't expect was her to win it. Didn't expect her to win it at all. The way she won it was actually quite clever, if I'm honest. I like the little thing where she, ended up standing on top of Sasha and Bayley, so she wasn't eliminated, and then eliminated
Shayna
Baszler. Now she's facing both Sasha and Bayley in 2 singles matches on one night. Is that too much of 3 ladies at one pay-per-view?
I would say yes.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is thoroughly deserved.
Okay. Tell me why.
Just ever since WrestleMania, was it Money in the Bank? Sorry, when Asuka became champion and they started telling this story. Obviously on SmackDown, it was Bayley and Sasha doing their thing, having their little feud, and then they got caught up with Asuka over on Raw, and then the Kairi Sane, that whole story as well of getting Kairi Sane out of the company. Obviously in the background, the wider picture is that obviously Charlotte is out and Becky is out. So right now they're trying to just keep the star power up within the women's division especially. And these guys have just done fantastic work no matter what show they've been on. I mean, Sasha's faced Io Shirai on NXT and Asuka got involved over there. Like it has been about these guys, like and they've really carried the brand and the brands and the story. And I feel bad that the other ladies aren't getting a spotlight in some way, shape or form, but you can't say it's not deserved that these guys are kind of carrying it right now.
And that's very true. I think it's very much deserved. It's the story's there. The story's been built. The story's been carried on. The story, has developed nicely. And in that respect, it's fine. I think in that respect, it's great. I still think, me personally, as much as I have no issue with the dominance of Sasha and Bayley, I feel as if there still could have been a chance for development of a story for Bayley's contender.
Yeah,
I think keeping Asuka and Sasha, at loggerheads would have been fine. It still carries the story greatly. It doesn't deteriorate the story in any way. But then the opportunity to have someone else be able to shine, unfortunately, was missed. We've got all these ladies who, are doing good things. You've got the likes of Shayna, you've got Bianca Belair, and even a few others, who could have come through as a contender. And as much as there wouldn't be a lot of space or time for a big build for SummerSlam match, it still would have been enough, an opportunity at one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year would have still been enough, and then there's still a SmackDown in between to build something more. So there is the argument.
Just to cut you, I think that is exactly the reason why they went with Asuka on SmackDown, though, because obviously Asuka's not even on SmackDown,
right?
Because there was literally 2 weeks left, 10 days left before SummerSlam. We don't want to just bring someone with 1 week's build. Asuka has been involved with these guys.
True.
Let's just give them that. And remember, there's no fans in the stadium to complain. So these guys are going to do whatever they want because there's no one that is going to audibly disrupt their show about it. So.
And that's true. And like I said, for the story alone, it works. I guess more people would probably be complaining of the fairness or the opportunities of others. You know what I mean? But yeah, at the same time, it works. As I said, Sasha Banks and Bayley being so dominant, having all the championships, people could already complain about that. but I think it's been absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
personally. And they well deserved and all the rest of it. So yeah, Asuka being in there, and it also means that Asuka's not thrown by the wayside as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's going to happen at SummerSlam, whether she's going to lose both matches. I'm hoping she wins at least one.
No chances, Asuka. If Asuka loses both, she is done out here, honestly.
Yeah, of course. And that would just be the worst because, we the amount of times we've kind of felt as though Asuka's not been given enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would then be even more of a kick in the teeth. But then at the same time, I wouldn't be too surprised, if I'm completely honest. There was talk weeks ago of, Asuka losing her championship and Vince not caring about her and stuff like that. I don't think that's necessarily the case because of, the story's been progressed and, we're where we're at. But at the same time, there's nothing to say, it's still a way to further build Sasha and Bayley and not necessarily to build Asuka. You know what I mean? We've seen it so many times where people have been built to a very, very good level, which gives us hope for that person, and then boom, it was actually for their opponent and not for them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, it's possible, but at the same time, I don't see her winning both. I'll be very surprised if she wins both.
Yeah, I think they need to be very careful that they don't overdo this 2-belt thing. Well, to be honest, they've overdone it already. So if they go with Asuka beating both of them, it won't be good. When I did see that Asuka was going to be the number one contender, and I was weighing up after SmackDown what's going to happen here, I thought, you know what? Unfortunately, if I'm correct, this is Sasha Banks' first official title defense since she won the Raw Women's Championship. And what does Sasha Banks do on her first title defense? She usually loses it. So I do think maybe it'll be down to Bayley. I think maybe you're going to see some shenanigans here, and something maybe down to Bayley. They had a bit of a go at each other after SmackDown, Bayley and Sasha. So I do think if there's anyone going to lose, it is going to be Sasha Banks, unfortunately. Yeah.
I mean, we, before they won all the championships and stuff, we were hoping for it to be Sasha versus Bayley at SummerSlam, for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So there's still space for, obviously not for that to happen at SummerSlam, but for that to happen somewhere down the line, very, very soon.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility. It would be very interesting if the tables were turned, though, where Asuka wins the SmackDown Championship and then Bayley gets upset and comes for Sasha.
And costs her the Raw one, maybe.
Probably not even cost her the Raw one, but Sasha retains, but then Bayley will do the whole thing of, I carried you, I got you to where you are now.
The jealousy starts shining through.
Right. So then she comes, because we all expected Sasha to be the jealous one. So let's, twist it, turn it around and have Bayley be the jealous one and come for Sasha. And I think as well, actually, SmackDown in general probably would even benefit with Asuka being on SmackDown. Because I think the SmackDown women at the minute kind of lost their way. You know what I mean? There's not necessarily much going on.
Yeah.
So, if there's a new champion there and it's Asuka, then maybe, who knows?
I was even thinking when the Battle Royal took place, Carmella hasn't been on TV for weeks.
Ages, bro. Ages.
Weeks. And I mean, I get the sentiment that, people are thinking this is too much of the same people and stuff.
Right.
Like I said, I do think these particular women deserve it. However, I mean, this is them just kind of dropping the ball and concentrating so much on the same people that they haven't built up someone else on SmackDown to be a credible challenger for Bayley. They've worked with Nikki Cross in the last few weeks and she's been good. But SummerSlam, I guess, one of the big four, as we said at the beginning of the show, and they want a big match sort of thing, a big match feel. So I guess they've just went with like an old reliable, I guess.
Yeah, and that's true. As I said, it's a shame that the sub stories, especially on SmackDown, have not necessarily been happening. Obviously, we've got Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax kind of on a sub story. I mean, even Shayna Baszler pinned Bailey yesterday on Raw. Yeah. So, you know, there's that sub story happening, but there should have probably been a little bit more on SmackDown itself, because there's no one you can think who's a deserved number one contender on SmackDown at the moment. Nikki Cross had her chance and, you know, unfortunately blew that. So, and there's no one else. And Alexa Bliss is caught up in between a monster and a fiend. You know what I mean? So there's no one left, mate.
Yeah,
you know
it's true. Naomi, Lacey are doing their own thing. Like I said, Kamala ain't been on TV in weeks. Dana Brooke has just been about. Tamina just been about. They've left it because they left it too late, and that's why they just thought, you know, let's just draft in. She's got to defend it at SummerSlam. Let's just draft in someone who I guess fits the story, and
I guess the other sub story, and it kind of will probably nicely move on to our next topic as well. The other sub story that we have on SmackDown actually is Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. They've had their feud. It's not, you know, it doesn't feel like as if it's building to any, you know, number one contender thing. But at the same time, it's still, you know, them showing themselves in what they're doing and stuff as well. And hopefully whoever comes out on top in their hair versus hair match, which is going to be very interesting to see someone lose their hair, especially when it's a female. It's always more interesting to see a woman lose their hair. It's crazy. I don't know who's going to win that. No idea at all. I don't know who I want to see bold, or who's gonna pull it off better.
Sonya Deville. I don't think it's gonna be bold, but she's gonna give herself one badass haircut,
serious makeover, bro. And she's gonna come back. Yeah, I think so. Speaking of Sonya Deville, and very very unfortunate incident happened with her this week, where a man was arrested at her home. For an attempted kidnap. Like, come on. Now, this isn't storyline. This is not, you know, this is not fake. This is a very, very real thing that happened. And, you know, as we spoke before this, you know, you were talking about other females who have been kind of mistreated, and just the way females are treated within wrestling in general. But even very specifically, you know, some of the women in WWE. Is there an issue with the way fans treat stars? And we're very specifically talking about females as well. Is there just this lack of respect, a lack of conduct, a lack of understanding of how fans treat female stars?
Yeah, there's definitely a lack of conduct. I mean, in the last week alone, I think shortly after we posted last week's show, that's when Shotzi Blackheart, it was reported that her car had been robbed, as well as the possessions inside it. Obviously, Shotzi Blackheart has very much unique gear with her helmet, her tank, and everything like that. Like you mentioned, Sonya Deville. In the past couple of days on Twitter, I've been seeing the constant reposting of at meet and greets, WWE meet and greets, obviously in the past, not so much now, of men more or less groping, hugging female superstars when they clearly haven't been asked, but, you know, the female superstar's just doing her bit to please the fans. She's just accepting it. Like, some of the pictures are so uncomfortable to even just look at. Like, how is this guy doing this? Like... And again, I saw that a lot of stuff has come out about people asking about Becky's pregnancy, which is a private thing. Becky hasn't even been in the public eye since she's went off TV. People questioning, is Seth the father? Like, guys, can we just draw the line? Like, bro, this is TV, and we're forgetting. Not we, but, you know, there's some people out there that forget these people are playing characters on TV. These people are human beings as well. You know, treat them with respect. Treat them with, you know, just basic things that you would do to any other person. Don't think just because you see this person on TV, you can act a certain way or say a certain thing about them. You know, it's just draw the line. Like, definitely draw the line. Learn how to conduct yourself in public with all these people, and just show respect. That's all it is, respect.
I'm guessing most of this all this mad stuff and things people are saying have happened in that dark place I call Twitter. It's such a dark place, it's ridiculous. But joking aside, like, I think it's a serious issue especially within wrestling. Yeah. Within the wrestling community for some strange reason. And you know what, I'll be very, very frank. It's one of the reasons why I am a lot of the time very, very quiet about being a wrestling fan. Or I'm only vocal within this circle about my fandom for wrestling, because there are too many things, and you know, we can even talk about the speaking out, you know, all the revelations that came out there a few months ago. It just makes you feel super uncomfortable about being a wrestling fan. Like, I feel scared to. It's a good thing that there are no events happening at the moment, because as a male, I would feel scared to say or do almost anything in that arena, thinking either I'm going to say the wrong thing, it's going to be perceived wrong, blah, 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 because there are certain men who are literally doing the wrong things, the way they talk, the way they, you know what I mean? And, you know, going back to the whole thing of, you know, people saying certain things on Twitter, that's not only men. There are females that are saying certain things as well. But at the same time, unfortunately, as a male, I can only really speak from a male perspective. Yeah. But it's shocking. It's shocking. It's something that we can't hide as well. It needs to be spoken about. The conversations need to happen in order for a change. But these conversations are going to be very uncomfortable for a lot of people. Those who are, you know, whether they're involved, whether they do it, whether they've experienced it, or whether you've just not done anything at all. See, I think I don't know what the actual solution is, what the practical solution is to these things, but people really need to start to learn about their conduct when it comes to, you know, these stars, whether male or female, the way you speak to people, your manners, your etiquette, all of that kind of stuff. It's just, you know, why is it even an issue? It's sad to think that it's even an issue.
Bruv, I can't believe that, you know, I'm at a meet and greet, someone signed something for me, they're doing me a favour. You know, maybe I get a picture as part of the package or whatever, or I ask for a picture, and I can't believe that I'm going to just put my arms around a woman in the public. It doesn't matter who she is. I can't hug somebody without asking their permission.
Right.
Same way when you go to give someone a handshake, you put your hand out and see if, you know, they reciprocate. You don't just grab their hand and shove it into yours. Like, you see what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna hug a Becky Lynch or Alexa Bliss when I'm taking a picture, it's like, oh, do you mind if I can get a hug for the picture or something like that? They'd be like, sure. And then, you know, their body language would be a lot more receptive. Some of these pictures that are on Twitter is literally them, Alexa Bliss being hugged, and she's like, you know, looking so creeped out and weird. Like, and that's not the face of someone that knows a hug is coming. You see what I mean? Like,
right.
It's just, come on. Like, this is basics. Like,
and the crazy thing is, as you said, you know, when there's no permission asked, it's what the hell's going on. The second you ask permission, sure, no problem. There's no issue. It's amazing. Communication makes the difference, bro. You know what I mean? The right type of communication, permission, manners, respect. I think respect is a massive one. Let's have that as the word of the day. Respect is this one. Is this 100. One this week, because it's definitely down to respect. People just lack that, you know, for whatever reason. There's some, you know, people's life experiences are different. Too comfortable, definitely too comfortable. But you know,
ultimately they've ruined it for everyone else now, because I think I read that WWE have put into place some type of no touching rule at these kind of events, these meet and greets and stuff now. So, you know, maybe innocent kids that weren't doing anything, or even innocent members of the public that were going about it the right way, everyone's lost out now because of some creeps or non-well-mannered people.
Right. It's crazy. It's crazy. Before I get too depressed, let us move on to the next thing. We have a few minutes left, so let's get on to our stars of the week. I'm gonna put you in the firing line and give me your one for this week.
So this week, I have a bit of an honourable mention before my actual star, and even my star is a bit of a funny pick, but I'll get there.
Okay, let's go.
So my honourable mention is Dominic Mysterio, because God knows that beating he went through the other week on Raw was that. If that wasn't an initiation into WWE and becoming a superstar, I don't know what was. And he soldiered it.
I'll jump in really quick here. The whole, what is he doing? He's not even had 1 year of training. He's not even been on NXT. Blah blah blah. All of that argument went out the window when he received that beating, bro. I'm like, yo, give this boy a contract.
That was his contract.
Champion. You know what I mean? Like all of that. Let's go. He's ready. That was crazy, but yeah, carry on.
He's my honourable mention, and even since he kind of got more involved in his storyline, since Ray's been off with the eye thing, I've become a lot more invested in this storyline. So I can't wait to see whatever street fight madness they're gonna put on at SummerSlam. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah. But my actual star of the week is Velveteen Dream. We had his return on NXT. And despite him not actually winning the match, he's gone into like this second place qualification opportunity against Finn Balor this week. I looked at Velveteen Dream and I thought, you know what? I think this might just be, and it sounds a bit dramatic, but this might be very much like a final chance. Because he's obviously, Velveteen burst onto the scene. He was absolutely brilliant that first run. He picked up the North American Championship. He got injured, written off TV for a while, came back, never really recaptured himself, I don't think. He had obviously his fight with Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. That had the cinematic match. Since then, again, he was written off. He got involved. Well, he had an accusation against him in that whole speaking out movement. He had a car accident as well, so that probably kept him off TV for a bit. And with him just returning, I thought, you know what? And he's gone with this heel persona. It looks like he's returning to that heel persona. I think this is pretty much do or die. I think at this stage, this is someone that I think they would have had massive investment in terms of he's got loads of potential. This guy's going to be a star when he reaches the main roster. And the last maybe year probably hasn't gone to plan. And like I said, it does sound a bit dramatic because he is still so young in his career. But I think, I'm backing him to really turn up the noise now, turn up the volume and deliver in what seems like probably quite a critical stage in his career right now. So, despite him not actually doing much within the week, he is my star of the week and someone that I hope in the next few weeks we see a lot from.
To shed my opinion on Dream, always been a massive fan of what he does and what he's about in the ring. For me as well, it felt, especially with him, with the heel persona and stuff, coming back to that, it feels as though Velveteen Dream is back, and it's not the back as in he was off TV for a few weeks. It's more, as you said, the last year hasn't necessarily gone to plan, or the wow factor of Velveteen Dream disappeared. Yeah. Even during, the NXT Championship feud that he had with Adam Cole, the wow factor kind of disappeared. I thought it would, when he kind of came back after the back injury and the feud with Roderick Strong, it was there, the aggression, blah blah, but it kind of died off again, like almost straight away after he got involved with Adam Cole. So I'm hoping as well that this is, Velveteen Dream coming back, the same one that we would talk about every single week, the same one that was making headlines for the right reasons, and all the wrestlers above were talking about him and saying that he's the star and he's the one to watch and all that type of thing. A match with Finn Balor, that can only be a good thing. Whether I'm hoping, I don't know who I want to see win that match, to be honest, but I think there needs to be something that makes both of them look great. Yeah. Because one's going to go to the North American Championship ladder match. The other one still needs to, because even with Finn Balor, let's talk about him just for a second. Even with Finn Balor, like he's kind of on this, he's kind of like a last chance type of thing.
Yeah,
if things don't work out for him
yeah.
with this as well, it's kind of like, what was the point? Where does he go? What do you do? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that match. Let me give you my star of the week. Mine has to be Bobby Lashley. This guy's a beast, bro. This guy's an absolute beast. I caught what he was doing on Raw yesterday, bro. Oh my word, taking out like all 4 men and all the rest of it. Like, he's just got this aggression to him right now, where I'm thinking, why is he like kind of just? It's nice to see him doing his thing and the aggression and all the rest of it. And MVP is doing, I say every week, MVP is doing the Lord's work right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's absolutely killing it and helped Bobby Lashley in so many ways right at the moment. But Bobby Lashley needs to come back to some type, whether it be, you know, the US. If MVP doesn't win it from Apollo Crews, then Lashley has to come through in some way, or the WWE Championship, whatever happens with that. Because Lashley is just an absolute beast right now, bro. There's no more good things I can say about him, because I think he's just at that place where he should have been when he first came back to WWE. We've seen, you know, well documented all the really silly storylines that he's been involved with, and all the dumb stuff, and, you know, the sisters and the butt showing and the marriage to Lana and all that rubbish, bro. For me, it felt as if that was almost an initiation or a reinitiation. To see whether he would, you know, go roll with the punches and then gain the respect of, you know, Vince or the higher ups and all the rest of it. And then they say, boom, okay, let's go with it. Yes, he had that, and he had the feud with Drew McIntyre, which was actually really, really good. But he's shown even more now than then.
Yeah.
I think he needs to start now having more high profile matches for himself
100%.
To then build him back towards being a contender in some way, you know, for the WWE Championship. But yeah, Lashley's just beasting it right now, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Whenever fans are due to kind of come back in their whole full form, not this Thunderdome stuff, I think they have to, once they have like a rough date of when that's going to be, and they know when the next big pay-per-view is going to be around that time, they have to start building to Lashley versus Lesnar. It is only right. It is only right. It is only fair. Like, I mean, there's no better way to inject Lashley straight into WWE Championship scene with a win over Brock Lesnar. It doesn't matter what's been happening on Raw until the point. If you come in and beat Brock Lesnar, as far as I'm concerned, you're number one contender. Mate,
straight away. Straight away.
Yeah, I think that's definitely he's owed that match. It seems like he's been owed that match, and that they even might have used that as a coin to try to get him back into the WWE when he returned.
They must have.
Yeah, and then they never gave it to him. So I would like to think he's owned that. He's doing some brilliant work right now, and MVP can very much be his Paul Heyman in that scenario. We've got to see these two guys go up against each other. His packaging, everything is brilliant. He doesn't talk the best, but he's got someone right now that can be his mic man. So let's let him do what he needs to do in the ring.
He's most definitely in that place where he needs to be, which shows him in his best light for sure. Even in his matches, he's doing, you know what I mean, doing more than he has before, showing us more than, you know, more of what he can do, and some stuff that, you know, he was actually able to do in Impact, because his time in Impact, especially the last year or so, was really strong, very strong. But I think he's just raised the level even more at the moment, and it's great to see. So we'll see what happens with that. The Hurt Business. There was a lot of shenanigans on Raw as well, involved in all of them lot, and our favourite championship, the 24/7 championship, favourite, I say.
One last thing on Lashley.
Go on.
I think if we knew the Hurt Business was going to become what it was, and that WWE were going to be as invested in it, he probably should have beaten Drew for the WWE Championship. I think that match came too early in Drew's reign and too early in Bobby Lashley's ascendancy anyway.
Right.
I think that match was way too early because it would have been, you know, with Drew McIntyre getting some mileage on the WWE Championship and Bobby just being as dominant as he has been, if that match was maybe to happen even from like now-ish, it would have made a bit more sense if Bobby Lashley could win. Like,
is that then in retrospect, or did you think that at the time?
At the time, I thought this match is too early. I don't want Drew to lose because it's too early. But I'm very much invested in Bobby Lashley. If this was the SummerSlam match, Drew versus Bobby Lashley, we've had Hurt Business and everything, I would say they better slap that title on Bobby Lashley.
Very, very true. Very, very true.
But at the time, it was probably a bit too early.
Okay, yeah, because I think for me it's a little bit more retrospect, but at the same time, as you said, even at the time, I was kind of like, you know, I was struggling to you know, really work out who I wanted to win. Massive Drew McIntyre fan, as most people know. And as I said, you know, Lashley was just on the rise at the time, and I was like, it would still actually make sense if they decided to put it on Lashley. And it's been a long time as well that he's come back and, you know, not really done much. So yeah, I think definitely he deserves to be put back in that title picture at some point very, very soon. Hopefully maybe even before Survivor Series, to be honest.
It depends how they're going to go with things. You know, Survivor Series, they like to do their champion versus champion versus champion. So it's like a exhibition pay-per-view at this point. It's
true.
Nothing's really on the line. Royal Rumble, I guess, is the next big one after SummerSlam. But yeah, I guess we'll see. But yeah, Bobby Lashley is a great pick for Star of the Week.
Imagine Lashley winning Royal Rumble.
It can run. Why not,
bro?
It can run. Why not?
My head's ticking. You know what? Let's cut it now before we start talking for another hour, because I could easily do that on that subject alone. But it's been great as always. We've got through what we need to get through. We've been on IG Live. Sorry, I didn't acknowledge any of you at all. Sorry, but you know, this is what we're doing at the minute. Hopefully, we'll be doing live very soon on YouTube. That's the plan. So look out for that, people. But until then, I'm your boy ADazzle. This is your boy Mex. You can catch the full show again on the WrestleManiac UK YouTube channel. Yep. So please check that out, subscribe, click the notification button, all that good stuff, because we want to build the kingdom that is black wrestling as well.
That's right.
So let us do it. Let's be a united kingdom. See what I did there? I need to stop. So you can follow us, WrestleMania UK, on all the places and that dark place called Twitter. And you can follow me here, as you are already, on Black Wrestling Alliance on Instagram. People, that was us for another week. See you later.
Take care. See you guys later.